Hi, welcome to You, Me and Mediumship. Tonight I'm doing a short video on some writing that I did probably a couple of years ago now, and there's some spiritually influenced writing where I ask questions, and as the answers come through I made notes, and then I do a write-up at the end. So this one is based on love. What is love? And how would Spirit describe love to me? And I sat with this for a while, and I've made some notes, and like I said, I write out as best I can. It's not word for word, but it's as close as I can get to what I receive. So I'm going to read this out to you now, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm sorry if I keep looking away, it's just I've got it up on my laptop, so here goes. So this is my guide's comment on love and its variation, which is interesting. And he says, if it was possible to take you by the hand and journey to the world in which we exist, into a state that you were totally aware and free from matter, and then you would appreciate love in one of its purest forms. I say one, with reason, as although I have knowledge of energies in higher states and have temporarily felt a mere sprinkling of their warmth, I cannot comment with the honesty of experience. All being well, a moment will arise when I can do so. So I think what he's saying there is that at the level that he is at, although being a guide, obviously he must be at quite a high level, I would presume. He is saying that there are levels above him that, although he has sensed from other spirits the warmth and energy of this love, it is something that he can't comment on, simply because he's only experienced a small amount of it. So he is saying that even though where he is now, it's a beautiful place and it's warm and the love is unbelievable, probably beyond what we can comprehend, there is even more to this. So I'll carry on from where I left off. I'll just read that bit again actually, where he says, with reason, as though I have knowledge of energies in higher states and have temporarily felt a mere sprinkling of their warmth, I cannot comment with the honesty of experience. So he's coming clean there, if you like. All being well, a moment will arise when I can do so. So what he's saying is, as he moves through the realms, he will be able to give a little more information on that. And he says that many express love well, many cannot, even though their soul's foundation is built upon that very vibration. So he's saying that even though our energies, our source within, is built upon the foundation of love, whilst in the human body, not all can show love. So where did we get to? Even though their soul's foundation is built upon that very vibration, the mist of bodily experience within your world blankets its being present by various degrees. So basically what he's saying there is the life we live and the world we live in can kind of blanket the true emotion of love. In other words, we're too busy living our lives, too busy, I guess, making a living, that it kind of gets taken away, if you think about it, which is sad, because if it gets taken away from us because we're too busy living a life, yet our life's foundation is based upon it. Yeah, that's kind of scary in a way, isn't it? Because if our life experience is going to be based on more material things rather than the true foundation, that love foundation, then I guess in a way you can see why things go wrong like they do. And he has said, a bit further down, being the souls you are in awareness, you understand that love is and has to be present in all. However, it is perceived by others, or even on occasion by oneself. I have to read it twice myself sometimes. Being the souls you are in awareness, you understand that love is and has to be present in all, which I guess light workers understand that better than most, I guess. However, it is perceived by others, or even on occasion by oneself. So I think what he's saying there is that we are, as light workers, aware of the presence of love in everything that exists, everything that we see around us. But some people don't see it, even though we understand that. Many souls do not see the love around them. It's kind of blinker it. But we simply ask that you keep this thought readily in your mind as you embark upon this, your new direction. And by keeping this thought as such, it will enhance you all. So what he's saying is just understand that love is A, the foundation, and B, is in all that we see and experience, and that will help us as mediums, as light workers, as healers. Once we understand that and use that foundation for all that we do, then it will enhance our gifts, if you like. So that's quite interesting. Quite short. And what was interesting there, I think, was the new direction. Like I said, I wrote this a couple of years ago. Sometimes I would have an evening of writing and put it down for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, go back to it and read it. And I would have to read it 2 or 3 times to even understand it. It certainly isn't me. Believe me, that is certainly not me. But some of the facts that I've learned through doing this, I would highly recommend it, have been fantastic. Some of the things I've learned has been fantastic. That's why I harp on a bit and probably get on people's nerves about spending that time sitting with spirit, because what you learn is it's incredible. It really is incredible. And some of it, I guess, can be beyond our comprehension sometimes, hence having to try and work it all out. I'm not saying that I'm right the way I've worked it out, but by all means, comments will be greatly received if you can see something else in what I'm saying. And there's a little piece just underneath that, because I said he mentioned a new direction, and under here I've got a piece that I wrote, and I've actually titled it "My Guide Talking of Accepting New Ideas." Opening your hearts to accept new ideas that go against all you once believed. Makes sense. Ideas that will question every book, every word ever spoken from those who stood so high in your respect, stamped as unquestionable truth upon your minds. This by no means an easy task. I've got that. I'm sure you have as well, actually. It's not too difficult to understand that part. Basically, everything you've ever learned, forget it. Interesting, isn't it? In other words, open your heart, like he says, to new ideas that go against all you once believed, and ideas that will question every book. I don't think I'm going to go into that one, not yet. No. I'll probably do a video on that at a later point, but I think we understand what he is saying. In other words, to drop all the ideas, and those ideas that we once believed, in other words, forget them. Like I just said, forget them really, and stamped as unquestionable truth upon your minds. In other words, there's a form of control in those words, isn't there? Stamped upon your minds, unquestionable truth. In other words, what others are saying is truth. We're not allowed to question it. And like he said, this is by no means an easy task, and that's one that I totally understand. It's certainly not an easy task. and obviously we lose a few friends and what have you. But things that, these unquestionable truths need to be questioned. And I think once we start to do that, it makes us better mediums. Question, question, question. The truth belongs to you. It's not in a book, it's not anywhere. That truth's in you. So forget all what's been, like he said, stamped upon your minds, the unquestionable truth. Forget all that and start to find your own truth. He goes on and he says, only true seekers of knowledge that can control the natural soul's instinct to pursue only the purest of fact will relearn. Only true seekers of knowledge. I think we're all seekers. I think all light workers are seekers. And only true seekers of knowledge that can control the natural soul's instinct to pursue only the purest of fact will relearn. So in other words, we need to open up to this. We need to question, open up to spirit, and we will relearn if we allow that to happen. And he goes on and says, the slightest whisper from old self will but only redirect you back to the path to nowhere in the work of the spirit. Quite blunt, but what he's saying there, if we allow the trained mind, if you like, what we have learnt through our lives to drift back into our thought, it will just redirect us back to where we started and we'll get nowhere. That's interesting. And it must be by instinct of this seeking true self that you accept what is in fact truth. So within us all there's an instinct to seek truth. And by seeking that truth, our true selves, we can learn to accept what is the real truth. I'm going to read that again. It's quite a long sentence. Only true seekers of knowledge that can control the natural soul's instinct to pursue only the purest of fact will relearn. The slightest whisper from old self will but only redirect you back to the path to nowhere in the work of the spirit. And it must be by instinct of this seeking true self that you accept what is in fact truth. And he goes on and says, my dearest of friends, by knowing your divine self and its source will trigger that instinct to absorb only that which is passed from us. I love that. By knowing your divine self and its source, that will trigger the instinct to absorb only that which is passed from us. So by finding self, we will only absorb the word of spirit. We won't absorb anything else apart from the word of spirit. And surely that's got to be a fantastic thing, hasn't it, really? If we could live our lives by this, by the truths that we learn from spirit, just think how wonderful this world would be. Just think if everybody could do that. We never alter in our state of teaching, but the state of absorbing our guidance must, in order to influence as it should. Now, I kind of get that too. So, truth is truth, isn't it? You cannot alter truth. And there are many, I believe, that there are many religions that do alter truth to suit themselves, to go along with the times. And that can't be right. That cannot be how things are. It just can't be that way. Truth is truth. You can't alter truth just to suit yourself. And many do, unfortunately. So we never alter in our state of teaching, but the state of absorbing our guidance must, in order to influence as it should. So the way that we absorb this guidance, in other words, we need to learn to let go. That would be a way of absorbing it. And by doing that, it'll be an influence upon the human race in order to influence as it should. So in other words, by emulating that light, that we all the truth and what we've been taught via spirit will influence, and it will influence everyone around us. So that's that one. I've got, I think that the last count, I think there's been a few more added since then. Some of the writing that the spiritual influence writing that I've done is probably over 80 pieces now. And there are some that come from me. I also write for myself. Ideas come sometimes and I just write for myself. Most of the other writing, like the spiritual influence writing, is things that I've questioned myself and asked Spirit for guidance on. And the 80 pieces that I've done are based on that. There are bits I've done myself. I won't bore you with that just yet. I'll just see if I can find something that would go. I'll do this as a last piece for you all. And he talks of the work Spirit are doing alongside mediums. So it's kind of that relationship Spirit and mediums have and what's going on. And it says, our feelings and emotions blend into your atmosphere as a droplet of ink into water, permeating the vibration of soul, knocking at your mind's door. We drift in anticipation of response. That's interesting. I like that. I love the way he's put that. We drift in anticipation of response. You can kind of picture that, can't you? You've got to picture that in your mind. Like Spirit is everywhere, trying to give us a nudge and looking for the people, the energies that start to open up to this. And it's kind of hunting us down, if you like, in a nice way. But to the unaware, it mostly disperses as mists in warmth of sunshine. To some, a sensation within. To the aware, it's communication contained in such beauty. So, in other words, sometimes it falls on a deaf ear. That's how I would have put it. And some, there's a sensation. So when they're trying to tell us something, we get that feeling that they're there. We know something's going on. And for an experienced medium, to the aware, it's communication contained in such beauty. So for the experienced medium who knows how to link into this communication, he feels or she feels the beauty of it. So it's a wonderful thing. Many of you work on the love vibration that links souls to one another between worlds. That's our job. Every word spoken is in its own right a minute step towards our goal of life encased in the purity of unconditional love. So what he's saying there is that their goal would be for us to emanate unconditional love constantly. So even whilst within the human body, their ideal would be for us all to emanate love from the Spirit and from ourselves, from our own spiritual selves. Hand in hand, we are chipping away at the stone of materialistic values, and in time our masterpiece will be unveiled as a true sculpture of beauty. I like that. Hand in hand, we are chipping away at the stone of materialistic values, and in time our masterpiece will be unveiled as a true sculpture of beauty. Sooner the better, I think, sometimes. I am humbly in position of receiving ideas that I am absorbing so gratefully from spheres I couldn't possibly begin to describe. So the ideas to the guides, to the helpers that we all work with are coming from above them. So they are absorbing this and they are trying to pass that on to us. I couldn't possibly begin to describe. So there are times, and this has happened on some of the writing, where my guide has explained that there is more to a story, but I simply wouldn't be able to understand. I wouldn't comprehend it, which I respectively accept that. Right, where are we? I'm going to start that paragraph again, so it kind of carries on. I'm humbly in possession of receiving ideas that I am absorbing so gratefully from spheres I couldn't possibly begin to describe. As I have a way to travel upon my own personal path in order to find those words. And I wonder if, as I relate this to my friend, that's moi, I think, that those words even exist. So what he's saying there is that some of the love, the warmth, the ideas, what he receives from the realms above him is kind of saying, I'm not sure that I can even put that into words. He doesn't even know if there be words. There are words that could describe that. That's interesting. Some ideas I'm casting out on my friend's vibration in order for them to be shared in relation to you, lifting your work to a new level. So here I am, sharing to a level I know will take your breath away. Stand tall, my friends, and this is for you. Stand tall, my friends, with strong hearts. We are at work too, doing all we can. And that's nice to know, isn't it? And I 100% know they are doing all they can. There is a limit to what they can do. But in a way, we're in a good position here, all of us, all the light workers, the spiritual people out there. I think sometimes we need, maybe just like in the first piece of writing, we need to relearn. We can't keep going around in circles. We do need to relearn certain things. And if we open up to that and start to relearn these things, I think hopefully we can make this world a better place between us. Anyway, that's a couple of bits of writing there. Hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, please like the video, and have a read. I think some of this is actually on You, Me and Mediumship on Facebook. I've put some of the writing on there. There are small quotes and all sorts of things on there, but further down you'll find quite a bit of this writing, and I'll come back another evening with some more, and we'll talk our way through that. So that's great. Thanks for listening. God bless, and speak to you soon. Bye for now.